violence against people they don't particularly care for. This sort of rhetoric is amplified by online trolls that are often indistinguishable from domestic echo chambers. All of that is creating a dehumanizing climate where people increasingly are not.
Trump survives assassination bid.
Take a look what happened.
Shooter killed seconds later. Deadly sniping action on camera. US Secret Service completely fails its one duty. American gun laws debate heats up.
Take a look what happened.
Repeated slip-ups put Trump's life in danger. The Trump assassination bid. The US Secret Service failed at the one job it was entrusted with, the protection of a former president of the United States. What was the anatomy of this shameful, humiliating near miss that goes on to stain the record of the Secret Service? I'm going to break it down for you here on 5 Live. I'm Shiv. These are the headlines. President Joe Biden condemns Trump assassination bid, batting for national unity. Biden urges America to reject extremism and fury. India Today Newsbreak confirmed Medical College admits IAS Puja Khedkar's OBC quota stunt. Cops hunt for Puja's gun-toting mother, says Puja's father is not cooperating in the probe. Madhya Pradesh Mandir Masjid Row escalates in Bhojshala. Archaeological survey report shows discovery of several historical artifacts, claims structure built on temple. Valmiki scam heat mounts for Karnataka Sarkara. BJP hits the streets in protest against Siddaramaiah government, claims that Dalit funds have been looted by the Congress to win last year's assembly election. Big escalation in Pakistan domestic politics. Government bans Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf, the party of Imran Khan, claiming anti-state activities by the entity.
Take a look what happened.
It might as well have become the campaign motive of the Republicans this election. Images of Trump being shot at with a bullet grazing his ear and then him holding his fist up while bleeding from his face has become the most central image in what is now turning out to be the most tantalizing American election. President Donald Trump narrowly escaped a potentially deadly attack during a campaign rally in Pennsylvania. It was a minor injury, but that bullet, if it had moved just this way or that with his head, would have ended Donald Trump's life. There is no doubt about it. Let's start first with what happened.
Take a look what happened.
Former US President Donald Trump narrowly escaped death after a shooter opened fire at him during an election rally in Butler, Pennsylvania on Saturday. Trump sustained a minor injury in his right ear and was seen clutching his bloodied ear as US Secret Services surrounded him and escorted him off the stage. A day after the assassination attempt on Trump, the Federal Bureau of Investigation named 20-year-old Thomas Matthew Crooks as the suspect who was shot dead. The attacker was armed with a semi-automatic AR-15 gun.
This evening we had...
The FBI says it'll probe Trump assassination attempt as an act of domestic terror, even as motive of the attack is yet to be identified.
Take a look at what happened.
Trump thanked law enforcement agencies and said that God prevented the unthinkable. The Republican leader went on to say that he loved his country and that it is important to stay united. Trump is in Milwaukee in the US to be a part of a crucial Republican convention where he will be formally named as the presidential candidate. Former First Lady of America, Melania Trump, spoke out for the first time after the shooting. She condemned the assassination attempt and urged Americans to set aside political differences to consider leaders as humans with families. President Joe Biden, in his address to the nation after the shooting, called for a lowering of temperature in politics.
Last night, I spoke with Donald Trump. I'm sincerely grateful that he's doing well and recovering, and we had a short but good conversation. Jill and I are keeping him and his family in our prayers. We also extend our deepest condolences to the family of the victim who was killed. The FBI is leading this investigation, which is still in its early stages. We don't yet have any information about the motive of the shooter. We know who he is. I urge everyone, please, don't make assumptions about his motives or his affiliations. Let the FBI do their job and their partner agencies do their job.
Take a look at what happened.
The images of Trump's fist pump right after the shooting has rallied his voters and donors. The incident could help Trump bolster the lead he already enjoys over Biden in popular ratings. Bureau Report, India Today.
20-year-old Thomas Matthew Crooks was the sniper who shot Trump, hitting his ear. He could have easily killed the former president, but fortunately he missed and only hit his ear. Who is Thomas Matthew Crooks? 20 years old, a registered Republican from Trump's own party. The FBI says it's investigating a potential act of domestic terrorism, which is rare. But the absence of a clear ideological motive by the man, shot dead already by the Secret Service, so they can't even interview him, has led to a huge number of conspiracy theories after this monumental security collapse. Take a look.
A day after gunshots rang out at a Trump rally in Pennsylvania, investigators are now digging into the past of this man, Thomas Matthew Crooks, as the suspect in what police call an attempted assassination. It's unclear how the 20-year-old managed to get close enough to shoot at Trump from a nearby rooftop with an AR-15 style rifle. The FBI says he acted alone. On Sunday, the police presence was heavy in Bethel Park, where Crooks is from, about an hour from the rally site. This video shows him at his high school graduation. Jason Kohler, a classmate, described him as a loner.
I mean, he would sit alone at lunch. I mean, he was just an outcast, and you know how kids are nowadays, and it's honestly kind of sad. Like, I don't want to say this is what provoked it, but you never know.
Crooks was shot and killed by the Secret Service. One attendee also died, a 50-year-old man that Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro described as a hero.
We lost a fellow Pennsylvanian last night, Corey Comparator. I asked Corey's wife if it would be okay for me to share that we spoke. She said yes. She also asked that I share with all of you that Corey died a hero, that Corey dove on his family to protect them last night at this rally.
2 other people were wounded in the shooting, but are in stable condition. Leaders on all sides of the political spectrum condemned the shooting. Democratic President Joe Biden on Sunday reiterated that there was no place in America for violence.
An assassination attempt is contrary to everything we stand for as a nation, everything.
Investigators say they still don't have a motive for the attack.
I'm at the Trump rally and somebody just started shooting. What just happened?
Johnny Palmadessa, a Democratic strategist, was at the rally on Saturday to get in touch with Trump supporters when shots rang out.
Oh my God.
I watched mothers shield their children from bullets. I watched husbands jump on their wives. I watched elderly people struggle to leave fast enough. Some of them practically gave up and decided, I'm just going to wait here because I can't get out right now. That's not okay.
Trump is now due to receive his party's formal nomination at the Republican National Convention, which kicks off in Milwaukee, Wisconsin on Monday. On Sunday, the Secret Service said it was confident in its security plans for the event and was not anticipating any changes because of the shooting.
Well, apart from the investigation itself, what does this incident actually mean for the Trump campaign? Remember, there have been some ups and downs in his campaign, but you can only imagine how this has energized and galvanized the Trump campaign team. For starters, obviously there's going to be sympathy and support from undecided voters who could be the big deciding factor this American election. Trump's defiance, the way he held up his fist with that bleeding face, it positions him as a strong leader, someone who can still stand despite facing a bullet. It also shifts the narrative of him, confirms the narrative that his campaign has been using and proposing for a long time, that opposition forces are trying to target him. Now he gets to basically tell the American public that the opposition forces want to kill him. And finally, it tilts the electoral dynamics. Remember, President Biden has already been on the defensive because of his health, but now concerns over Biden's health vis-a-vis and juxtaposed with Trump looking like something of a strong man could tilt the electoral dynamics significantly. And remember, this isn't even at a time when Biden is on a strong wicket. Now, the spotlight on the US Secret Service couldn't possibly be harsher. This is a country where access to firearms and assault rifles of the kind that were used by Thomas Crooks to fire a bullet at Donald Trump are sometimes more easily accessible than everyday groceries. The US Secret Service, tasked specifically with protecting current and former presidents, is part of the Department of Homeland Security. And right now, it's got egg on its face, perhaps like never before, after this failed assassination attempt. And remember, this is a country where presidents in the past have died to assassin bullets. What could the Secret Service have done that it did not do on that particular day? Take a look.
Take a look at what happened.
The US Secret Service is confident of security plans at the Republican National Convention. Donald Trump is attending a day after the miraculous escape from assassination attempt.
It's been an 18-month process. We've worked together over that 18 months to develop operational security plans for any and all aspects of security related to this event.
But did it change within the last, has any change been made in the last 24 hours?
We're not anticipating any changes to our operational security plans for this event.
Take a look at what happened.
The FBI and the Milwaukee police are also backing up the Secret Service, now under severe criticism for the Saturday debacle. Experts believe the shooter of the assassination attempt had limited capability, knowledge and training, and yet he was close to killing him.
I would have expected that local law enforcement, at the direction of the Secret Service, would have been positioned on those rooftops. You allocate one to more likely 2 to 3 officers to take positions along that rooftop or that roof line. But that apparently wasn't done. The other aspect that we'll have to find out is obviously civilian witnesses observed this individual.
We couldn't see him, but we could hear him. So we walked up, and probably 5 to 7 minutes of Trump speaking. I'm estimating here, I have no idea, but we noticed a guy crawling, bear crawling up the roof of the building beside us, 50 feet away from us. So we're standing there, we're pointing at the guy crawling up the roof.
And he had a gun, right?
He had a rifle.
A rifle.
We could clearly see him with a rifle. Absolutely. We're pointing at them. The police are down there running around on the ground. We're like, hey, man, there's a guy on the roof with a rifle. And the police were like, huh, what? You know, like they didn't know what was going on. You know, we're like, hey, right here on the roof. We can see him from right here. We see him. You know, he's crawling. And next thing you know, I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, why is Trump still speaking? Why have they not pulled him off the stage? I'm standing there pointing at him for 2-3 minutes. Secret Service is looking at us from the top of the barn. I'm pointing at that roof, just standing there like this. And next thing you know, 5 shots ring out.
So you're certain that the shots came from that guy on the roof?
100%. 100%.
And he was up there for a couple of minutes?
He was up there.
You saw him up there for a couple of minutes?
Absolutely. At least 3 to 4 minutes.
And you were telling the police and the Secret Service?
We were telling the police. We were pointing at them for the Secret Service, who were looking at us from the top of the barn. They were looking at us the whole time when we were standing by that tree.
Could they see
binoculars?
Could they see him?
Probably not, because the roof, the way the slope went, he was behind where they could see.
The eyewitness account identifying the attacker minutes before points glaringly at the loopholes that the US Secret Service finds hard to answer at this point.
I don't know what to say, man. I'll tell you is, if I walked up close to there with anything that Secret Service considered a problem, I wouldn't be standing here talking to you right now. But I don't know why a guy who we're standing there pointing out to police and Secret Service is crawling up the roof.
Were you outside the security perimeter?
Yes, right there by that tree. We were outside the security perimeter. But my question is, there's only a few buildings around here. Why is Secret Service not on every building here?
Well, there's a whole bunch of questions, I think, that are going to come.
There's a whole bunch of questions.
This individual was able to make an attack on the former president with limited capability, knowledge, and training. And that concerns me, because what if there was somebody that was really trained in how to assassinate someone? Would it have been accomplished? And that concerns me as to how somebody that, from the first blush now, I don't know very much about this individual, if anything at all, a novice versus a trained assassin.
A sniper employment officer who has led several combat missions in the past, identified as Blake Hall, called the attempt an easy shot on a social media post, as there were major security lapses due to which the shooter could engage Trump from at least 130 meters. Tesla maker and ally Elon Musk has called for the US Secret Service leadership to resign. So did Republican House of Representatives Speaker Mike Johnson, and added that other appropriate officials from the Department of Homeland Security and the FBI should appear for a hearing at the earliest. Many social media users and Trump supporters have pointed out the absence of drones at the campaign rally, that even experts believe could have kept a watch on buildings outside the security perimeter, but still close to the venue. Bureau Report, India Today.
A former president with a bullet grazing his ear is about as big as it gets if you're talking about a security system failure by the Secret Service. Now take a look at the multi-level failure by the Secret Service, which had this one job to do. Potential threats were obviously not adequately assessed beforehand, which is why nobody knew what was going to happen at that particular rally. The high ground, vantage point positions were not entirely secured by the Secret Service. This is basic. Any small police force knows about this. The Secret Service didn't ensure it. Perimeter security breached despite checkpoints and magnetometers. How did a guy with a rifle get within a few hundred meters of the rally location? Secret Service didn't locate the gunman until shots were fired. And as you just saw in that report, there appear to have been visitors and attendees of that rally who had actually called attention to someone crawling on that roof. Delayed real-time response by agents after Trump attacked. That embarrassing video of fumbling Secret Service agents unable to holster their pistols, adjusting their sunglasses, running around, falling around, not knowing what to do as they secure the president, has truly put a very, very scary spotlight on the agency that is literally tasked with nothing else but protecting the body of the president and former presidents of the United States. Now, obviously, as you can imagine, there's a huge blame game politically between the Republicans and the Democrats over this assassination attempt on Trump. The Republicans say Biden's campaign painting Trump as a threat to democracy has triggered the shooting. A similar war of words, remember, is also playing out in India, which is also a country that is no stranger to assassinations of leaders. Take a look.
Take a look at what happened.
The Donald Trump shooting continues to reverberate across the globe. In America, the Republicans and Democrats are trading charges, accusing each other of creating the atmosphere that triggered the assassination bid. In India too, it has triggered an explosive war of words, with the BJP accusing Congress MP and leader of opposition Rahul Gandhi of inciting violence against Prime Minister Modi. It even raked up the security breach during Narendra Modi's visit to Punjab's Firozpur in 2022. The BJP claims that Congress is creating conditions for political violence in India by calling the Prime Minister a dictator and anti-democracy.
कांग्रेस पार्टी की स्थिति ये है कि जब थोक में हार होती है तो रुलाई और जब फुटकर में जीत होती है तो धुलाई। फुटकर में थोड़ी बहुत कहीं जीत हो जाएगी तो फिर विरोधी राजनीतिक पार्टियों की धुलाई शुरू कर देंगे। तो इस तरह की रुलाई धुलाई जो है वो सियासी सेहत के लिए हानिकारक होती है, उनको समझना चाहिए।
The Congress has called the BJP's attack at Rahul Gandhi cheap politics and has accused the Prime Minister and the BJP of inciting hatred against its party leadership.
RSS is an organization which spreads hate. Congress is an organization which spreads love. We all know that Mr. Rahul Gandhi ji's family members too, two of them, Indira Gandhi ji as well as Rajiv Gandhi ji, has been victim of political violence. He stands for love and affection, and these kind of fake news factories of BJP will be defeated.
Take a look at what happened.
In an extremely polarized world, will such rhetoric only create deeper divides in democracies? Bureau Report, India Today.
So the bullet that went after Trump was an assassination attempt on a presidential candidate, a former president who is running for another term as president. But here's a look at those who've been in office and been killed. Abraham Lincoln, most famous 16th US president, assassinated in 1865 in a theater by assassin John Wilkes Booth, who shot Lincoln in the back of the head. James Garfield, US president, was assassinated 6 months after taking office. He was killed in 1881 in Washington at a train station. William McKinley, US president, assassinated in 1901 by an anarchist in Buffalo, New York, attacked while shaking hands with supporters. Most famously, John F. Kennedy, killed in 1963 by a hidden assassin with a high-powered rifle. The killer, Lee Harvey Oswald, was shot dead 2 days later. He was shot in a victory procession in his car with his wife, Jackie Kennedy, by his side. Now, Donald Trump has been a front-runner in this US election, and now he becomes much more than just a front-runner. The US presidential race is now hotting up after that narrow assassination miss. The bullet grazed Donald Trump's ear, and it's a miracle nonetheless that the former US president cheated death. But remember, amidst all of this, there are those who claim to know more about why Trump was able to cheat death. Take a look.
Take a look at what happened.
Trumping death by a few millimeters. Donald Trump survived this fatal assassination bid, and it's nothing short of a miracle. Donald Trump turned his head a wee bit, and that ensured that the bullet, instead of ripping through his skull, hurt his ear. And now, Hindu religious group ISKCON also has said that it appeared to be a divine intervention which saved Donald Trump. ISKCON has claimed God's hand to Trump being alive today, citing a 1976 incident.
हम लोग सभी लोग बहुत ही आश्चर्यचकित हो गए जब सवेरे देखा किस तरह से डोनाल्ड ट्रंप बाल बाल बच गए। आप देखेंगे कि मिली सेकंड में वो उन्होंने माथा घुमाया जो बुलेट का जो डायरेक्शन था उनके एकदम मिडिल ऑफ द पीछे बैक के हेड में था, लेकिन जैसे ही उन्होंने सर हिलाया तो वो बुलेट उनका कान में छेद करते हुए निकल गया। तो सभी लोग बोल रहे हैं, इवन इंक्लूडिंग डोनाल्ड ट्रंप, उनका सबसे पहला रिएक्शन जब आया तो उन्होंने कहा कि ये भगवान के कारण मैं बच गया, ये गॉड इंटरवेंशन है।
A young Trump back then, 48 years ago, provided a train yard for constructing Rath for the Yatra, and he did it for free. To date, ISKCON Bhakts remember this favor from the former president.
अगर वो जगह उस समय हमें नहीं मिलता तो शायद 1976 में इस्कॉन न्यूयॉर्क में रथ यात्रा शुरू नहीं कर पाता। तो 1976 में डोनाल्ड ट्रंप ने जगन्नाथ रथ यात्रा को बचा लिया न्यूयॉर्क में, और 48 वर्ष के बाद जब पूरा विश्व रथ यात्रा का उत्सव मना रहा है, आप देख रहे हैं कि कल भी रथ यात्रा 9 दिन का फेस्टिवल होता है, आज उल्टा रथ है, तो उस समय रथ यात्रा के उत्सव के समय जब डोनाल्ड ट्रंप को जरूरत पड़ी तो जगन्नाथ ने रेसिप्रोकेट किया।
Divine interaction, luck,
वैलिडिटी है, कास्ट वैलिडिटी और नॉन क्रीमी लेयर सर्टिफिकेट है।
अभी जब वो यूपीएससी अपीयर कर रही है तब उसे मेंटल इलनेस हो या फिर मल्टीपल डिसेबिलिटीज हो, ये अलग अलग दिखाई दे रहे हैं। क्या आपके पास उसका कुछ उस वक्त का मेडिकल फिटनेस के सर्टिफिकेट अवेलेबल है जिसमें ऐसे कुछ उसका जिक्र किया हुआ है?
मेडिकल फिटनेस सर्टिफिकेट तो देना ही पड़ता है, उसका है अपने पास, और उसमें डिसेबिलिटी कोई
इसी फाइल में है?
हाँ है।
ओके।
और उसके लिए डिसेबिलिटी सर्टिफिकेट कोई नहीं है, इसके लिए सेपरेट सर्टिफिकेट लगता है, वो नहीं है हमारे पास, एंड एब्सेंस ऑफ डिसेबिलिटीज लिखा है उसमें।
Trouble is now mounting for Puja's family as well. The Khedkars are now caught in another controversy over a land dispute. The Pune police claim Puja's parents are on the run and have switched off their mobile phones. Police teams are searching for the couple in Pune and nearby areas. 3 teams have been formed to trace them, but so far the whereabouts of Dilip Khedkar and Manorama Khedkar remain unknown.
उनके खिलाफ पौड़ पुलिस स्टेशन में एफआईआर दर्ज है, वो सिलसिले में हम उनको ढूंढ रहे हैं। उनके पास वो क्राइम के अगेंस्ट इंक्वायरी करना है, और यहाँ आए हैं तो लॉक है उनका घर, और उनके मोबाइल नंबर भी स्विच ऑफ लग रहा है।
The situation escalated for the Khedkars after a video showing Puja's mother Manorama Khedkar threatening a farmer with a firearm went viral. The farmer alleged that the Khedkars had encroached his land and hired goons to beat him up.
Newly launched FIR says that section 504, 506 criminal intimidation has already been added in the newly FIR, but now interestingly traffic police department has seized the Audi with the beacon. Secondly, Pune CP has issued notice to Manorama Khedkar under the violation of Arms Act.
The police have also seized an Audi car used by Puja Khedkar. The vehicle was found with a red and blue beacon, a VIP number plate and Maharashtra government written on it, all in violation of the Motor Vehicles Act and what Puja Khedkar is entitled to as an IAS officer trainee. Puja is silent on the allegations against her and her family.
जो भी जांच कमेटी है उनके सामने I will keep all my things.
As the search for Manorama and her husband continues, the controversy surrounding the Khedkar family escalates. A government panel is already investigating whether Puja Khedkar got a disability certificate and non-creamy layer OBC certificate in violation of norms to get selected into the IAS. The whole saga has exposed serious issues of power misuse. With Omkar Wable in Pune, Bureau Report, India Today. And Omkar Wable is live with me from Pune. He's been driving our coverage of this big national story. Omkar, you're outside Puja Khedkar's residence. Just a couple of days ago, we had seen her very angry mother shouting at journalists, including you, outside the house. But now, very strangely, they've gone missing. They have, run away from there after an Arms Act, Motor Vehicles Act, and other cases have been lodged against the parents.
Exactly. So both parents of Puja Khedkar, like Dilip Khedkar, father of Puja, and Manorama Khedkar, mother of Puja, who is trying to threaten those farmers with the pistol. Both are basically not reachable. Police are trying to reach them. Both are not even cooperating the investigation, and that is why Pune Rural Police are in search of Khedkar family. So local crime branch of Pune Rural Police has already initiated the investigation. They've already formed 3 different teams. They are trying to trace all the locations near Pune. Also, one team has already left for the Ahmednagar, which is the hometown of Dilip Khedkar, and Manorama Khedkar, who is the sarpanch from that Pathardi Tehsil, and one more team who's now leading towards the Mumbai. Basically, on we can say investigation, and the teams are initiated and different at a different level of investigation. So teams are investigating this probe. Police is trying to do their work, but both parents are not reachable. Neither they are ready to cooperate to police, nor they are responding their calls or the messages. So basically, traffic police has already seized their Audi car with the beacon. Pune CP has already issued the notice to Manorama Khedkar under violation of this Arms Act. PMC.
Omkar, continue to track that. We've just lost that link with Omkar, but he's been driving our coverage, and we will be looking at that very closely. So 3 things to remember in the story that Omkar is bringing to us right now, viewer. 1, that the entrance to MBBS, because remember Puja Khedkar is a doctor, is also under scrutiny now. Did she submit fake documents of OBC non-creamy layer status in order to bypass certain fees for MBBS? And her mother and father are both on the run. They're not answering calls even from the police, despite serious cases like Motor Vehicles Act and Arms Act being filed against them. There is a case of land grab that has also been registered. And if they've done nothing wrong, why have they run away from their house and switched off their phones? We'll keep a track of that. But days after India today put the national spotlight on this dubious IAS officer, Puja Khedkar, it looks like a dam has broken. In the last 1 week, since I decided this would be our channel's lead story, the sacred reputation of the UPSC, that one entity considered immune to fraud, is lying in tatters, in pieces. It's broken and probably can never be repaired. But worse than that, viewer, the story that we broke on Puja Khedkar has opened doors to India's favorite open secret: how the IAS and the bureaucracy in general is hugely compromised by corrupt officers, and how India's most elite civil service, the IAS, has been routinely and dangerously infiltrated by fraudsters and liars. In the 6 days since we broke the Puja Khedkar story, you would have noticed a sudden stream of allegations of similar fraud by many serving IAS officers, especially on social media. Now, the most common lie pertains to disability, and it is not clear that faking health issues has been a time-tested way. It's now totally clear that faking health issues has been a time-tested way to better your selection chances into the civil services. If the many alleged instances now bursting into the public hold true, it means that there is no shortage of Puja Khedkars in the Indian administrative service. Like her, many have faked caste poverty to enter the services. The Puja Khedkar story has captured national attention because of the brazenness of her alleged deceptions and the arrogance of her conduct. Even her fraud may have actually passed under the radar if it wasn't for her bratish, obnoxious sense of false entitlement in ordering people around. But what I can tell you for sure, viewer, is that there are hundreds, literally hundreds of IAS officers out there in our country who are smart enough not to call attention to themselves, smart enough to acknowledge now that they've dishonestly penetrated the IAS. They should shut up, work quietly, and pray that nobody revisits their admission file. Puja's monumental error was her blind disdain for rules and structure. She was by nature apparently obnoxious, perhaps, And that's why she invited attention to herself. And when it could no longer be sustained, the system is now acting against her, in no small part because of India Today's coverage. Many of you have acknowledged my stubborn focus on this story as something to be looked at as hope for real change in this country. Let me first show you some facts, and then I'll tell you what I plan to do with the story. India currently has, viewer, 5,300 IAS officers, which is a decent number, but it's still 850 short of the required sanctioned strength. Now, a minuscule 180 new IAS officers join the service every year via the UPSC Civil Services exam, like Puja Khedkar did. One of India's most visible former IAS officers, D. Shiv Aroor, who went on to head the Reserve Bank of India, says, on record, I'm quoting him, he says, 25% of IAS officers are either corrupt, incompetent, or inefficient. Now, incompetence and inefficiency are unacceptable too, but since we're talking about fraud and corruption, let's assume that 1/3 of this 25% that Shiv Aroor is talking about refers to corrupt IAS officers. That means a little over 8% of India's entire IAS cadre is corrupt. In other words, according to a leading IAS veteran, nationally respected luminary, over 400 IAS officers right now are corrupt and have used deceptive means to get to where they are. Now, you're probably thinking, maybe some of these officers got selected into the IAS using fair means, but became corrupt after they became IAS officers because of the nature of the job and because of the power that comes into their hands. Fair enough, good question. But are we going to ignore the fact, viewer, that Puja Khedkar's case demonstrates that corruption and dishonesty could begin with the very act of being selected to serve the public in the IAS? That those who infiltrate the Indian administrative service through unfair and false means are very likely to conduct their duties without the required levels of integrity. So I'm asking with all the strength at my command right now from this platform, how many of the 400 corrupt IAS officers in this country actually rigged their selection process with false documents, lies, dishonesty about disability, caste and economic status? How many have successfully entered the system, giving thousands of honest IAS officers and candidates either a bad name or a loss of future with their rotten conduct? This is the question that I plan to ask every single day on my show. Indian administrative service reform is a vast topic that needs attention. But what about this very probable morass of corruption that lies right in front of us, demonstrated in the form of people like Puja Khedkar? That seems almost certain from the indicators we've seen play out in the last 6 days. Can the political system, seen as an inextricable part of bureaucratic corruption, bite the bullet and drain the proverbial swamp of corruption? These are all unlikely and far-fetched scenarios. These are highly romanticized, and I personally, being the cynic that I am, don't see it happening. I don't see anyone, for instance, ordering a nationwide recheck of every IAS officer's documents, especially those who've used caste or disability certificates. It doesn't work that way. And even if it did, even that could probably be rigged and gamed. So what now? Puja Khedkar isn't the first IAS officer, remember, to face the national spotlight over integrity issues. But it isn't often that a country that depends on the IAS reaches an inflection point, a proverbial iron is hot moment in which to call for real change. Whether a surgical scalpel or a sledgehammer will finally be a call taken by the political leadership. But for a government that has reputed itself on rooting out bureaucratic corruption at the highest levels, can it afford for the public to dwell on the idea of 400 Puja Khedkars spread across the nervous system of precisely what runs this country? Think about that. And while on the topic of corruption, we're shifting focus now from Maharashtra to Karnataka, where the Siddaramaiah government is facing incessant heat from the opposition over alleged scams in the Valmiki Corporation. Karnataka's BJP leaders today marched towards the Vidhana Saudha protesting against the Congress government over allegations of corruption in the Valmiki Development Corporation, which is tasked with raising the status and levels of the Valmiki community. The BJP has alleged that the Congress has looted money for tribal people and used it to win elections. The BJP has also claimed that there is anger in the Dalit and tribal community in Karnataka against the Congress party and has made an assurance that it will fight until the people of Karnataka get justice. Remember, on Friday, the Enforcement Directorate arrested former Karnataka Minister and Congress leader B. Nagendra in connection with a money laundering probe related to a misappropriation of 187 crore rupees from the Valmiki Corporation Board.
Under the leadership of Chief Minister Siddaramaiah ji, so many scams has taken place. The money which was meant for the development of ST community has been looted by the Congress party during Lok Sabha election. Nagendra minister has already resigned. The MLA who was the chairman of this board, ST Development Corporation, has been absconding. Mysore Moda scam itself is more than 3,000, 4,000 crore scam. So Bharatiya Janata Party has relentlessly fighting against these issues, and today also we're going to rise on the floor of the house.
कल कर्नाटका गवर्नमेंट ने जुडिशियल इंक्वायरी का अनाउंस किया है, आप इसके ऊपर खुश है? क्या मांग है आपको?
पहले सीएम इस्तीफा देना, बाद में इंक्वायरी करना। सीएम के ऊपर आरोप है, सीएम के ऊपर आरोप करने के बाद उन्हें जुडिशियरी कमीशन नियुक्त करेगा तो वो सच रिपोर्ट लिखेगा क्या?
सर अभी जो प्राइसेस इंक्रीज किया है तेल और मिल्क के बाद, अभी कर्नाटका गवर्नमेंट कॉन्टेम्पलेट कर रहा है बस प्राइसेस भी इंक्रीज करने के लिए।
बचाए क्या?
राजू कागे ने कल
बचाए क्या? दूध से लेकर पेट्रोल डीजल तक, रजिस्ट्रेशन से लेकर सब महंगाई करने का काम किया है। केवल बचा है हवा के ऊपर टैक्स लगाना बचा है।
They looted 187 crores of Dalit amount. So Siddaramaiah have to resign. This is a big scandal. Siddaramaiah is involved in this. That's why we are demanding CBI inquiry.
The Congress claimed that the BJP, when it was in power, they have allotted the land to Chief Minister Siddaramaiah's wife Parvati, sir. You were in power, but unnecessarily you are raising this particular issue.
Yeah, no, unnecessary, no. Whoever, any government, it's BJP or JDS, Congress, we are not worried about that. Who made a mistake, they have to go to jail.
Let the preliminary investigation come about, no? And we have kept a judicial inquiry on, even without them being even without them starting investigation. These people want the resignation for what? If they have some documents, let them place it in front of the assembly. The assembly is in session. Let them place it in front of them. Let us discuss the matter. What is there? We are not running away from a discussion, are we? We have already stopped the transaction. We have ensured that investigation is put in place. So what are they fighting about? Where are the documents that they claim to have?
India Today's Anaga Keshav is with me live from Bengaluru. She's been reporting all the big news breaks on this story. Anaga, in simple terms, how much trouble is Siddaramaiah in? His government is little over a year old. It was a handsome victory last year. And now it seems to be a season of scams for the Siddaramaiah government, whether it is the Muda scam, the Valmiki scam, which is even more sensitive because it pertains to the Dalit and tribal community. How do you see this playing out? How much trouble is he in?
Well, truly, Shiv, it is an embarrassing situation for the Congress government in Karnataka because, the BJP at this point, they are demanding Chief Minister's resignation because there is a scam allegation directly involving the Chief Minister and his wife Parvati. Just before the day of assembly session, Siddaramaiah constituted a one-member panel headed by retired Justice P.M. Desai to probe into the Muda scam. But the BJP is saying that, that's not enough. We don't trust the state leadership. We want the Muda scam to be handed over to CBI as as well is what the BJP is demanding. Today was the first day of the assembly session, Shiv, and there was huge commotion that broke out here in Vidhan Sauda, right at the spot where I'm standing, and outside the premise of Vidhan Sauda as well. BJP staged a huge protest. Even in the morning, they moved an adjournment motion seeking time to talk about the Valmiki scheme and Muda scam. The session is going to go on for about 10 plus days, 10 to 15 days. And make no mistake, Valmiki scam and Muda scam allegations are going to be the top two talking points for BJP. All through the session, they are going to keep raising questions and ensure the protest gets even louder and even bigger is what the BJP state leadership is deciding.
Anaga, thanks very much for getting us that input. It's clearly something that the BJP wants to keep the heat on. Remember, on India Today, we always speak to all principles, and that's why Karnataka Chief Minister Siddaramaiah gave his first interview to India Today's Nagarjun Dwarkanath. He took a question on these scam allegations as well from us. Listen into what he said.
Also, your Deputy Chief Minister, Mr. D.K. Shivkumar, recently on the ED raids in Bangalore said that ED should not have been done this. SIT is investigating it and we are looking into it, and the government is very clear on investigation. We are not supporting anyone. The police have been given a clean, free hand to investigate the case of the Valmiki board, considering the Dalit issues come up. And he said that the ED should not have come here.
See, I don't know ED. I am told, and I have seen in the TV channel that ED is, since yesterday, they are searching the house of Nagendra, the former minister of
Scheduled
Tribes minister, and also Daddal, who is a chairman of the Valmiki Abhiruddhi Nigama, who is a chairman. See, both their houses were raided, and searching is I am told that searching is still going on. I don't know. But you have already, after this issue came up in the newspaper and TV channels, we have already constituted SIT. SIT is investigating it. I don't know. It was because banks are also involved. And SIT is doing, and they are called, Nagendra is called, and Daddal is called, and they were examined. I don't know, at this stage, ED is interfering.
And we've got breaking news coming in on the IAS Puja Khedkar story. It looks like she could be in more trouble as evidence is coming to the fore of even more dubious practices by Puja Khedkar, apart from the disability certificates which she refused to prove after getting selected into the IAS, into the UPSC, and despite her misuse of power, it looks like Puja Khedkar also attempted to obtain a third medical certificate. Apart from visual impairment and mental illness, there is evidence now that Puja Khedkar may have tried to obtain a third medical certificate from a hospital in Pune in order to benefit her in the selection process. But in this particular case, the request for that medical certificate was apparently rejected by the medical facility in question. Let's go across to India Today's Omkar Wable breaking the story first and exclusive. Omkar, apart from mental illness and visual impairment, a third medical certificate was sought by Puja Khedkar. Your reporting, give us the details.
It's very shocking, we can say, because Puja Khedkar tried to get her third medical certificate forged from the Aund Hospital, which is situated in the Pune. She tried to forge her certificate to prove herself physically impaired. Basically, it was a locomotive test. So what happened is she was trying to prove herself multiply disabled, and for that need, she was looking for different kind of certificates. Like in the beginning, when she appeared in the UPSC examination,